All right, here we go. So I have this little story here. Just want to give you a quick little rundown about. A few weeks ago, I stumbled across a reel or a TikTok, something, just scrolling social media, and I came across this person's post, and it was a post about having medical collections now illegal to report to your credit report. And I'd kind of heard some rumors about that, and I thought, oh, well, I don't know if that's true or not. So I screenshot it, sent it to myself because I was super excited about it and thought, I'm going to do some research on this. So I did everything in my power in Google land. And I think Google is fantastic. You don't have to be super, super smart to be able to find things, but I had to ask Google 6 or 7 or 10 or however many ways searched. I just searched and I couldn't find anything about it. So just deleted it. Thought, oh, well, apparently somebody knows something that I don't know and Google doesn't know. And I didn't really care much more about it, just left it alone. But the reason I bring this up is I actually have a ton of emails that come to me every single morning. And there was one that actually caught my eye. And the reason why is the title of it was the CFPB proposes the removal of medical bills on credit reports. And I don't know if you guys know who the CFPB is, but they're the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. We see a lot of it in the mortgage world. They regulate a lot of things. I don't know if regulate's the right word. I don't know. They have their hands in a lot of things. And they really are there for the purpose of protecting everybody from the bad eggs. I mean, we know there's bad eggs out there. We know there are people who are doing bad things that are shady. So we all get to follow these rules. And sometimes I scratch my head. But I was actually really proud of the CFPB. So in reading this, it kind of explained that they're going to fight right now to have medical collections come off your credit report. And I am all for you keeping track of what's going on with your credit, making sure that if you go to the medical facilities, that you actually pay attention to those bills and you get them paid. I in no way, shape, or form am telling you don't pay your bills because now there's no repercussions, because that's not okay. Like you hired somebody to do a service, you needed their service, you need to pay them. But what I do have a hard time with, and let me explain to you why this is a little bit of a passion of mine, is things that report to a credit report that are not there in, I guess, a correct fashion. They report in error. Sometimes it takes a lot of time and effort to just find out who you owe. And I'll put you into a scenario of I have a credit card that I chose not to pay. It went to collections. And so I get a hold of that collection company and they have already sold it to another collection agency, but they haven't reported to the credit report that they are going to have transferred that debt. So now you have another collection agency reporting on your credit report and you get a hold of that second credit reporting agency and they're just not nice people and you're trying to set up payment plans. And it's just a mess. It really is a mess. So deep down, I'm really hoping that they tackle the medical collections first, and then they go after the consumer accounts that are, credit cards, any of those lines of credit that just sometimes have false reporting. I always tell people, when you have something good on your credit, it's good. That's great. When you have something bad on credit, that's bad. That's bad. But what's really frustrating is when you're trying to get yourself put back on a good path and you pay off that collection and then they don't report it on the credit report. So fast forward 6 months and now you've decided you're going to buy a house or buy a car or do something. And that collection still shows on your credit report with an open balance. So then you're pulling out papers showing, yep, I did pay it. Here's my paid in full letter. Here's the paid in full letter that said you would actually report it to the credit report. And then it never happened. Anyways, so back to the original part of this with the medical collection piece. The frustration is a lot of the medical, the medical things that pop up on credit supposedly aren't supposed to affect your credit score. I just have to agree to disagree on that just a little bit. I do, because there's a little bit of an opinion there, and I'm not going to get on that soapbox. But when it comes down to it, the medical collection is still on your credit report. It's still a negative image of what went on there, and it's protected under HIPAA. So I can't call and help get that off your credit report. There is all these rules in place for protecting your identity and protecting your medical records and all that. So when medical collections get on credit, it's very hard to figure out who you owe. And a lot of them report on the credit report as a medical payment data. That's not a company. Medical payment data is just, it's just a name of it's medical and it's about a payment. and it's data. Like there's not a company called Medical Payment Data. Anyways, this is interesting. As I'm reading this article, it wasn't very long, but this hit me like a ton of bricks. There is a gentleman, I can't pronounce his name, but he's actually the CFPB director right now, Rohit Chopra. He is quoted in this article to say, research shows that medical bills have little predictive value in credit decisions, yet tens of millions of American households are dealing with medical debt on their credit reports. And I agree. Here's where I love this guy. When someone gets sick, they should be able to focus on getting better rather than fighting debt collectors trying to extort them into paying bills they never even owe. This is what's interesting. For the most part, we're required to have health insurance, right? So your medical bills get billed to the insurance company and you're fighting with that. And there's certain windows of time that the medical facilities have to send it to the insurance company for them to be billed. And it's kind of out of your control. And yes, you signed a paper at the doctor's office that said, no matter what goes on with the insurance, you're going to pay the bill. And I don't disagree with that. I'm telling you from this standpoint, if you guys have any interest of having help in the future to have credit really truly report accuracy, get behind your senator, your legislators, and help fight this. This is really good because I feel like this is step one. Getting medical collections fixed on credit is step one. Step two, we can say, listen, guys, you fix this on credit when it comes to medical. Now let's fix this on credit when it comes to things that are not reporting accurately. Paying things off, it should be a law that the creditor actually reports to the credit bureau within 30 to 45 days of getting that debt paid off, not just quit reporting. So I would just say, if you guys have a little bit of time, go to the internet, get in touch with your senator for your area, write him a little letter that says, hey, we want you to get behind this. The CFPB is in charge of getting this done. They've, I guess, taken charge in part of this, I guess you could say. Now, us legislation in each state needs to get behind this too. I think this is really good because I think it's a step in a direction that we need to go. So with that being said, medical bills, make sure you're making your medical payments, set up a payment arrangement with the medical offices you work with. I'm not saying that you need to completely not take care of that part of your financial world. I'm just telling you, thank you to the people who are fighting this. We're super excited that they're actually going to do something to help the consumer, because anybody who is out there listening to this that has had to fight with a credit reporting agency to get something fixed, yikes. It is just frustrating. And to just a regular consumer that doesn't do it all day, every day, it's super frustrating and super time consuming. And it really isn't any different from me. In my perspective, I deal with credit all the time on a daily. I still have the issue of all of the garbage of hoops to jump through to get there. So look up your senator, do some checking on the medical bills getting taken away from the credit reporting agencies, and just see if there's some way for you as a consumer to just jump in there and put your voice and say, yep, this is a good idea. And with that being said, just a quick little blurb about medical collections today. Make sure you're making your payments to your medical people. Don't just leave them high and dry, and definitely do your part to see if we can get this to be fixed on credit. So let's go out and be adults and not be afraid.